Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today what I do have in here it is Halo 4, a game developed by 343 Industries, Ruffian Games and Splash Damage. This game it is using the Halo engine, which is the same engine as the predecessor Halo games that we did test on the channel. So today we are here to test Halo 4 on the MX130, which is exactly the same card as the GT940 MX. This is using 2GB GDDR5, which is great. It is one of the best versions that you can get of the MX130, and I will be running the game at 720p using the original settings. The original settings are pretty much the median settings, and it is exactly the settings that consoles did use at the time when the game was released. So looking to the minimum requirements, this is nothing special at all. So it just asks for an i7 from the first generation. So this is a CPU with 10 years old, alright? And it also asks for 2GB of RAM and the GTS 550 or an AMD Radeon R9 graphics. They don't really specify which R9. There are tons of R9 graphic cards out there, so it's a little bit hard to guess. But we have in here the results for a lot of settings. So the settings that I do recommend you, the 720p original settings, it is these settings that you want to use because it will provide you an experience above 60 frames per second all the time. Amazing stuff. If you decide to go with maximum settings or enhanced, your average still goes above 60, but the minimums the game can drop as low as 42 frames per second. Same story for 900p at the original and enhanced. You can expect an average above 60, although the enhanced can drop as low as 38, while the original can drop as low as 53. So if you don't really want to have, you know, 60, if you don't care about having all the time 60 frames per second or above, you can go with 900p original or enhanced. As for 1080p, both original and enhanced settings provided an average below the 60 frames per second, but still the minimums were still above 30 frames per second. So if you only care about getting above 30 or above 40, you can even max out the game if you want. So at 1080p enhanced or maximum settings, my minimum it was 36. So I think it should be playable for most of you guys anyway. But if you are like me and you want to enjoy the game above 60 frames per second all the time because it's an FPS game, 720p using the original settings like I'm doing in here on the video, it is the way to go. Alright, but that's just my opinion. And also, this level that I'm trying over here, it is one of the most demanding levels of the game according to the community and according to some YouTubers out there. So it is to be expected that in many other levels of the game will just run much smoother than this level. This level, it isn't really too much demanding on these moments that you are seeing it now during the, during this part of the video. But a little bit more forward into it when you kind of reach some sort of arena with a lot of grass and mountains, and I start to shoot at enemies. Well, on that sequence, the game gets much more demanding than what you are seeing in here. Alright, so guys, I think that's all that I want to talk about the performance. Let's now discuss a little bit about the game. Master Chief Collection, I think it's an excellent package. So for $39.99 at the time of this video, you get 6 Halo games. Halo 5 is missing though, and it won't be added to this collection if it gets released on the PC. And also you don't get the spin-offs on this package. The spin-offs are games like Halo Wars, which is an RTX game. Halo Combat Evolved, when it was released, it was revolutionary. It had awesome graphics, especially for a console at the time, and it had an awesome multiplayer. It was the go-to multiplayer game for the console, and it was really important at the time because of that, because nobody believed that you could play an FPS game on the console, and especially a multiplayer one. And actually Halo proved that it was not really like that, and it was possible to have that type of markets on a console. So they really break the rules of that. I have played the first game on the PC when it was released, and I was blown away with the graphics despite the PC version had a lot of issues compared to the Xbox version, including worse graphics, but still I remember that it was awesome graphically at the time despite those issues. But I also remember that I didn't really enjoy the game that much. When I saw the enemies, I just couldn't take it seriously. Even today I find them really silly. They don't really feel any threat to me, you know. They are just so it really kills the vibe to me. Always kills the vibe for me, and it was, well, it is. I mean, it's stupid that I can't really get into Halo because of the enemies, but it really kills off the vibe to me. You know, the enemies to me, the Covenant, really needed to be something serious, any threat to me. And Halo and the way that the enemies are, I don't know, they just feel like something for childs. I don't know. It really pulled me off the game. So anyway, for the people that did play all the original games in the past, revisiting the first titles, especially fully remastered, should be awesome. But for newcomers like me that only play the first Halo, despite the remaster part, it is really awesome, and the devs really pulled off an excellent game. I mean, an excellent work in the remaster part, and it is awesome that you can, by pressing one single key, you can revert to the original game, and if you press it again, you can revert to the remaster game without waiting any second. So it's an awesome feature that can really show you off how much they remastered the game. So graphically, they really nailed it, in my opinion. Although gameplay, it is exactly the same as the old titles, nothing have changed. And since I didn't really enjoy the game in the past, I still don't enjoy that today. So it's nothing, the remaster is not going to change that. But still, I really enjoy the driving parts. I think they really nailed the feeling and the physics of driving all those 4x4. I think it's worth, the name of the cars was Warthog. I don't clearly remember the names, so I'm sorry. But yeah, I think eventually I will give it a second chance, though. I'm really sure of that, because at $39.99 or through Xbox Game Pass, it is a huge deal. So as an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, probably I will play the first Halo again, and if I do enjoy it, I will eventually complete all the other Halos. So if I do enjoy the game, I promise I will deliver playthroughs of the entire Halo series on my secondary channel on YouTube. So guys, I think that's all that I want to talk about Halo Master Chief Collection. It is now complete. You have all the Halos aside from Halo 5 and the spin-offs. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the game and the video, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
Chief, several patrols just reported in outside that structure over the ridge. It's possible they're onto something. If we're going to hijack a ship from these Covenant, we're going to have to find where they're landing first.
I don't suppose you have a plan for that.
We could always ask nicely.
Asking's not my strong suit.
That elite dropped his camo module. Let's have a look. I'll run a soft patch to it from the suit. Never know what might come in handy. There's that phantom signal again.